made me feel really anxious, like this one. She's always traveling and posts beautiful pictures online. And meanwhile, I'm just studying at home. That made me feel like I'm wasting my university experience.
Okay, I need to confirm something. That photo, AI generated background. I used one of those apps. I was actually at home that day. I just wanted my feed to look more interesting.
Wait, are you serious?
That series, and even the travel photos that are real, they are from like one trip 6 months ago. I just post them strategically to make it look like I'm always traveling.
And your posts are always about achievements, won this award, published in this journal, and presented in this conference. It's so intimidating. I feel myself not achieving enough.
You want to know the truth? That award was a participation certificate that everyone got. That a journal was a piece of newsletter. It's not a real research paper. And that presentation was like a 5-minute poster session with only like 3 people pass by. But when I put it on Instagram, it sounds very impressive, right?
So you're basically exaggerating?
I would not say that, but I would say strategic framing, basically.
Okay.
So what about you? Your posts look aesthetic and productive. Just like the perfect lightning, color coordinated notes, and a fancy stationery. Well, I just feel messy compared to that.
Those photos take 20 minutes to set up, and I usually take them before I study, not during, because when I'm actually studying, my desk is a disaster, and I look stressed. But that doesn't get like that it. But here's what's really interesting. It's not just the posts that are fake. The comments are too. Look at this. This is my post from last week. Xu Jidan commented, "So proud of you. What were you actually thinking when you saw this post?"
I was thinking, why is she succeeding and I'm not? I felt a bit jealous, but I kept coming jealous, so I pretend to be supportive. That's what I did.
We do the same thing. Last time, Shuya was posting about her internship, then I commented amazing opportunity. But in my head, I was panicking because I haven't had my internship yet.
And when I saw your comment, I thought, oh, good. People think this is impressive, but knowing you were actually anxious, that changes everything.
Oh, so we are the same. People are all supportive to others' performance. But underneath, we are all anxious.
Yeah, so we decided to dig deeper and went out and talked to other students.
Hello everyone, I'm key member of UKM FEP Student Union.
Wow. Can I say you are a circle friend from this past week?
Yeah, sure.
Wow, amazing. Wow. This looks like an amazing week. Walk me through what your week actually looked like.
Okay, so Monday I was at the coffee shop for 30 minutes, took that photo and left because I couldn't focus. Tuesday I didn't post because I stayed in bed depressed. Wednesday dinner was nice, but I left early because I felt anxious. Thursday nothing, just Netflix. Friday I didn't go to the gym, but only for 20 minutes. Saturday I cried about my grades. Sunday was okay.
So out of 7 days, you are posted 4 times, and those 4 posts show the highlight moments.
Exactly. Nobody posts day 2, depressing bed, or day 6, cried about grades. You post 30%. That looks good.
Wow, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So can I see your mom's WeChat moment?
Sure. She posts a lot. Family dinner, her garden, and vacation from last year.
Well, she seems has a really nice life.
Yes, but she doesn't post any boring stuff. Working late, stressed with the bills, arguing with my dad. Her WeChat moment is like the polished version of my family. At home is normal, messy, stressful, sometimes boring, but online we are perfect.
Wow, so even in your own family, the people you know the best who will perform online, right?
Everyone does. Even my grandma started filtering her photos.
Oh, okay.
I notice your posts pretty regularly. Are these photos from recent days?
Well, no, I have a photo bank like this one. This is actually from 3 months ago. And this one is from a trip last semester. I post them now when my life is boring to keep me feel active.
So your WeChat moment timeline doesn't match your real timeline?
No, not at all. Because my WeChat moment is constantly showing that I have a wonderful life. But my real life is mostly consisting of me in my bedroom studying or just scrolling on TikTok.
Oh, okay. So why did you do that?
Because if I post nothing at all, people will think I have no life. But if I post my real life, it's actually so boring and nobody cares. So I created this narrative it's actually a museum exhibit of my life, not actually my real life.
Okay.
Over 2 weeks, we surveyed 87 UKM students across different faculties, year levels, and backgrounds. We wanted to understand 3 things. How much do students perform online? How much do they consume others' performance? And what are the psychological consequences? Our sample included 52% from STEM fields, 48% from humanities and social science, 60% local students, 40% international, age range 19 to 24, all active social media users. We used validated psychology skills combined with our own questions about performative behavior. Let me hand over to Di Xuye for our first major finding.
Our first finding reveals a really dangerous asymmetry. We asked the student to rate about 1 to 10 how much do you believe your Instagram posts the real life. The average responses was 4.2 out of 10. So the student who admit their own post only shows 40% of their real life. But when we ask how much do you believe the other people's post Instagram about their real life, the average was 6.8 out of 10. So think about what this means. We know our posts are curated, but we believe the other people's are posted the reality. So this asymmetry is what psychologists call the transparency illusion, the foundation of social comparison anxiety. And the next is, in fact, 82% of the responses is the mostly part of respondents who admitted they are curating their post, and only a little part of respondents assume the others will do the same. So we are all performing, but we are thinking we are the only ones.
We created a performance behavior scale with 10 items measuring different types of curation, and here's what we found. The most common behavior is taking mobile photos before posting, which is 89%. The second is edit or filter photos, which is 85%. The third is only post positive content and hiding struggles, which is 78%. But here's where it gets concerning. Almost 43%, almost half, admitting participating in activities that they don't genuinely enjoy, solely because they make good content. Let that sink in. Nearly half of students are making real-life decisions only because Instagram worthiness. They're living for their performance, not for themselves. 35% said they exaggerated or misrepresented their lives, and 52% have deleted posts that didn't get enough engagement. This isn't just curation, this is our lives being shaped by an algorithm.
Now let's talk about the harm. So measured anxiety, life satisfaction, and also FOMO, or fear of missing out. And the correlation was striking. So students who score high on our performance behavior scale showed 35% higher anxiety levels compared to the lower performance. But here's the twist. It's not posting that causes anxiety, but it's the consuming itself. So we found that passive scrolling time correlates most strongly with the negative outcomes. So students who spend more than 2 hours daily passively scrolling report that 42% higher FOMO, 28% lower life satisfaction, and also 31% higher academic stress. It's the comparison that kills you, not the performance itself. Though performing has its own cost. Students who frequently create report feeling exhausted from maintaining their online persona.
But here's the encouraging part and why we made this documentary. We asked a critical question. If you could see the behind the scenes of other posts, how long they took, what was edited out, what struggles were hidden, would it change how their posts make you feel? 76% said yes. 3/4 of students said that knowing the reality behind the performance would reduce their anxiety and inadequacy. We also asked, would you be interested in content that reveals the gap between Instagram and reality? 84% said yes. This tells us something powerful. Students want to break the illusion. They are tired of performing and tired of being deceived. They are ready for honesty. So we decided to give them exactly that. But first, we need to understand the physical of why this happens.
To understand why social media makes us feel inadequate, we need to come back to 1954. Well, the psychologist Leon Festinger, who firstly mentioned about the social comparison theory. He argued that humans have an innate drive to evaluate themselves by comparing them to the others. And here's are two types. The first one is upward comparison, means comparing to those who's better than us, and downward comparison means comparing to the ones who's worse. And the upward comparison motivates us. Well, we believe we can improve, but when the gaps feel impossible, that will lead to inadequacy and depression. And here's the problem with the social media. It's almost entirely upward comparison. The algorithm only shows people's success instead of people's failures, and that feed becomes an endless stream of people who seem smarter, prettier, more successful, more social than you. And 2040 study by Bogle and his colleagues found that 88% of social media comparisons are upward, compared to about only 60% in real life. And we are comparing ourselves to highlight reels, and we are losing. Well, this because we are comparing our full reality, including our boredom, our failures, our moments, to the other people's carefully curated highlights, and we are always come up short.
Now let's talk about why we perform. Sociologist Erwin Goffman, in his 1959 book, The Presentation of Self in Everyday Life, argued that all social interaction is performance. Goffman used the theater as a metaphor. There's the front stage, where we perform for an audience, carefully managing our appearance and behavior, and the backstage, where we relax and drop the act. In pre-digital life, we could separate this stage. At work or school, we'd perform. At home, we'd be ourselves. But social media collapsed these badminstons. Instagram is a permanent front stage. There's no backstage anymore. Even our casual moments, watching Netflix, eating breakfast, become famous.
And here's the exhausting part. Social media creates what Solar Dennett Boyd calls contact compass. Your audience includes your friends, your family, your professor, potential employers, your ex, that person you met once at a party. Everyone sees the same performance. So you can't be fully authentic because you are performing for too many different audiences simultaneously. You have to create a lowest common denominator self that's acceptable to everyone. That self is usually polished, successful, and conveniently fake.
Here's where it gets psychologically interesting. We have a contradiction. We know Instagram is fake. We curate our own posts, yet we still feel bad when seeing others' posts. This is what Leon Festinger called cognitive dissonance, holding two conflicting beliefs simultaneously. Belief 1. My Instagram is curated and doesn't reflect my real life. Belief 2. Other people's Instagram are accurate representations of their lives. It's impossible that both of them are true, but we believe both anyway. Why? Research suggests it's because of what psychologists call the spotlight effect, combined with the illusion of transparency. We overestimate how much others notice about us, so we think our performance is transparent. They must know I'm faking, but we underestimate how much others are performing, so we think their posts are genuine. Add to this fundamental attribution error, when we judge ourselves, we consider circumstances. I'm posting this perfect photo because I'm insecure, but when we judge others, we assume their behavior reflects their true character. They post perfect photos because they're actually perfect. So even though we intellectually know everyone performs, our emotional brain processes others' performance as reality. That's why the anxiety persists despite awareness.
Okay, so it's not just psychology, it's engineering. Social media platforms are deliberately designed to maximize engagement. And for example, Instagram algorithm prioritize content that generate engagement, such as like, comments, and shares. For example, research by Facebook on internal team linked in the Facebook files itself show that the algorithm amplifies first extreme emotion, both positive and negative, and then attractiveness and aspiration, controversy, and also comparison-inducing content. This means for the most successful posts are those that make you feel something, strongly inspiration, envy, adequacy, desire, natural, authentic content that gets word. There's a term in this, it's called engagement bait. Posts are optimized not for the truth, but for reaction, and our brain are wired to react to the social comparison. So that's what the algorithm fits us. A 2021 study by Alka and colleagues found that when people quit Facebook for a month, they spend more time with their friends and family, reduce the news knowledge, but increase the subjective well-being. The platform itself make us informed but feel miserable. And here's the kicker. Instagram knows this, and internal research from 2019 found that Instagram is a toxic for teen girls' mental health. They know it, but they have done nothing about it. It's because of the engagement and profit matter more.
There's also a cultural layer we need to examine. Most research on social media comes from Western, individualistic countries, but in Malaysia and UKM operates on a different cultural values, which might actually intensify these effects. This is a graph about collectivism vs individualism. You can see that the darker the color, it means that the country is more individualistic. In individualistic countries, such as US, identity is individual. Success and failure are personal. But in collectivist cultures like Malaysia, identity is relational. You're not just an individual, You're part of a family, a community, a society. This means social comparison hits differently. In an individualistic framework, seeing someone succeed might trigger, I'm not good enough. But in a collectivist framework, it triggers, I'm letting down my family, my community, or my culture. There's also the concept of face, which is 面子 in Chinese and muka in Malay. It's about maintaining dignity and reputation in social contexts. Losing face is deeply shameful. Social media becomes a face maintenance platform. We perform success not just for ourselves, but to preserve our family's reputation. We hide struggles not just out of personal insecurity, but to avoid bringing shame to those associated with us. Research by Lim and Pham in 2016 on social media users found significantly higher anxiety around posting compared to Western users, precisely because of this face consciousness. Every post is a referendum on not just you, but your entire social network. This might explain why our survey found Malaysian students particularly exhausted by social media. We're not just managing our own image, we're managing our collective image. The stakes are higher.
One question stayed with me throughout this project. Is authenticity on social media even possible? Or is being authentic just another performance?
Well, when influencers post raw and real content on the internet, is that actually real or they are just performing authenticity?
Philosopher Charles Taylor argued authenticity isn't about being unfiltered, it's about aligning what you show with your values. You can curate and still be authentic if it reflects who you genuinely want to be.
But that's tricky. If you do something long enough, that becomes who you are, and the mask becomes the face. So maybe it's not about being authentic, but being honest about performing, transparency instead of perfection. So whose responsibility is this? Platforms, regulators, or users?
It's shared. Platforms design these systems, but they're profit-driven. Without regulations, nothing changes.
Regulation shouldn't control speech, but maybe it requires transparency, like warning labels for mental health.
Oh, but even with changes, I think nothing will happen because people already normalized the performance. It's not the problem of the app, it's people's problem.
So responsibility belongs to everyone.
Maybe we're trapped in a bad social contact. No one wants to perform, but everyone does because everyone else is.
It's risky to be the only real one.
Change might happen when influential people model honesty and its rights.
Maybe this is the document we're trying to do.
Are Gen Z uniquely affected?
But the scale is different. We're comparing ourselves to thousands of people through algorithms to trigger insecurity.
And we don't have true backstage moments anymore.
We are the first generation facing this. Future was much better if we learn now. Let's take photos. Cheese. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Wow, very perfect. Now, shall we select the photos? Wow, let's use the first one, I think.
Okay. Oh, this is imperfect, real, but this is us. And it feels better. It feels better. It feels better.
We thought the problem was social media, but the real problem is forgetting how to see through it.
Every perfect post hides effort, every success hides failure, and every happy photo hides something do not see.
So when you scroll and feel not enough,
Just ask, what am I not saying?
And when you post, consider being a little more honest.
Because 76% students said they do feel better to know the reality behind posts.
Don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reels.
Question what you see and maybe be a little more real.